Okay, my name is Charles Miracle Lipenga. Let's try to do something a little bit fun. You should just say, you lead, okay? Just say, you lead. You lead. 2018 is the year where? You lead. 2019 is the year where? You lead. Nice. Clap hands for yourself. Good. So one thing she didn't mention, I'm also a producer, a music producer, so I do a lot of things. First story. There was a young boy growing up in a small town in Malawi called Malosa, and he walked about 7 kilometers every day going to school, barefoot, and it was a horrible experience because at the primary school, there were no classes, there were no classrooms, they were sitting by trees. So sitting under a tree every day, when it rained, there were no classes. This young boy, by the time he was 5, after school, every time, he was selling popcorn so that he can afford to get something for himself to school. This guy managed to get to college and graduated, but he could not get a job. And this guy is standing in front of you today. I saw a challenge through poverty, through lack of quality education, and so many inequalities that we have. And I had a vision. I was 50 years old in that vision, and I was pointing fingers at the government, like most of my uncles. And I was saying, look how much they have not done for us. And most of my uncles, they do the same thing. And that day I woke up and I said, I don't want to be like most of my uncles. I don't want to wake up one day pointing fingers at the government. What can I do with what I have? So my story is basically a combination of two things, or a battle between two things. We have been sold the idea of high-income jobs. Go to school, become a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer, a nurse, or a teacher, or a pilot, right? Fly around the world. Build Africa is a concept that we have now to say, why do people have to go to Asian countries to buy building materials? Why do they have to get designs outside? Let's develop a team of people who can design and who can build in Africa right now. So come and see how far the project is right now. So this is how the project of Build Africa is. Literally using the same concept we learn in school. So I want to show you something, how I turned my high-income skills to change my social sector. In school, we learn 3 principles of architecture. The first one is called firmness, and it talks about durability, it talks about toughness, it talks about how sustainable a structure is. So in designing, we design a structure like this to stand a space of time. We don't design a structure to fall by the end of a year. How are we designing our organizations in our countries? How are we designing our governments? Are we designing them to fall within a period of 5 years? Or are we designing them to stand the test of time? The second ideology or principle that we learn is about functionality. About function. Are you designing the system, for example, a building, to be functional according to the use or the purpose of that building? Are we designing our organizations to function or to fit the purpose that we set to do? Have we designed our lives? Have we designed our skills to fit the purpose that we want to do? And finally, the third principle is about aesthetics. It's about the appearance. How can you design something as an architect to make it more appealing and inspiring? In school, we are learning that you can design a space to minimize arguments in a room. You can design a space to encourage or promote interaction in a space, in a room. These principles, they're the same principles our governments need. Are our governments appealing? Are they inspiring us to do more? How about our own companies? How about our own organizations? Are we inspiring other people and communities to do more? So that's why we developed Maestros Leadership Team. And that's an amazing team that founded that team, all right? I just want to share with you how we work as our business model. We have mainly 3 elements that we work with, being maestros being at the center of everything. So why did we choose the word maestro? The word maestro means a master of an art. Someone who is good at something to a point where he or she can teach other people. A master or a maestro is a conductor in a music group who synthesizes different harmonies, different sounds to create a harmony. And that's what leadership is. It's you standing in front, becoming vulnerable, and conducting different groups of people with different backgrounds, economic backgrounds, social backgrounds, but creating one harmony. So that's why we chose the word maestro. So we develop our teams for them to become masters of their own art. We work with, first of all, young people. They go through an incubation space or training program. These young people, they identify community challenges and improvise or develop projects or enterprises within those communities. The same maestros also works with government, NGOs, and private institutions. Now, what we do by the end of the day is to create an opportunity for government and NGOs to function better because we have trained people. And all these governments, they are focused on solving a solution for the communities. So it becomes a triangle. It becomes a circle of purpose. All right? As of now, we are in 42 universities, that's in college chapters, and we have about 11,000 users online. So the platform works in 2 ways. So the business model is a service as a platform. At the same time, it also is a community as a service. All right? That's the team actually in Lesotho. All right? I would like to show you an example of the community in action. Like I said, incubation. So this is one of the projects that we have under climate action. So our projects are aligned under the global goals of the UN and are aligned under the AU 2063 Charter. So like this is focused on environmental emergencies and as well as climate action. The first picture you are seeing above is a picture of one of our incubation training programs. The picture you are seeing on your left bottom is a picture of consultation with the UN environmental program. And as the picture you are seeing on your right is one of the enterprises that we launched now after the training. So it's a combination of 3 elements. Don't sideline the government, don't sideline NGOs and private sectors. You cannot do the job for your country without those elements on the ground, all right? So I'll just be showing you some of the projects that we have been working on. Like I said, we work under the global goals, and we have more than 10 projects running. We have impacted more than 500,000 people in different ways. So talk about education. In primary school, we provide everything from school shoes, school uniforms. How do we do that? So we run the enterprise as a hybrid. We registered it as a profit-making as well as a non-profit. The profit uses a business model which is called cross-compensation, whereby we make money from one entity or one end of clients, and we subsidize to the other end, young people like this. So we provide school uniforms in primary school, school shoes, and training programs to train them to become maestros, to think of creating solutions for their own communities. We have free school materials. We produce our own books, our own pens, our own pencils. We help the government to make sure our people are self-sufficient. So what we do is we create these kind of enterprises whereby the parents, the teachers, they can participate in the business and they can generate income through the programs that we are also helping their students. One of the projects, what we did was to create a full sponsorship or scholarship program. We went to the government, Ministry of Education, and said, we want to adopt a school. And they said, we don't understand. What do you mean adopt? So we said, we want to pay for everyone. And they said, there's no way, no one has ever done that. I said, we have the money. So most times we expect people from outside Africa to do something like that. But we have the capacity. We are the ones to make a difference because these are our people. It's our continent, our brothers and sisters. You can say amen to that. Yeah, so what we did at first was to say, okay, let's adopt government schools. So we started paying for a number of schools, everything, teachers, training programs, students, uniforms, materials, school fees, tuition fees, everything. Then we said, you know what? We want to make the students to become like us. So can we introduce something, some juice, some injection to the curriculum? Because I'll tell you one thing, education will shape the future. But we have to shape the education to have the future that we want. So what we did was to develop also projects under gender equality to make sure people, young people in schools, number one, they participate in sports. Most girls, they don't participate in sports, and that's one of the elements that it makes them feel inferior. And most of our schools, they don't promote sports for young girls. We work on advocacy program. We work on menstrual hygiene program. So this is a project called Care for Girls. If you can see the logo on top, it's a combination of a super girl, can you see, and a diamond. So we want to mentor or to model young girls to feel powerful at the same time beautiful. All right? Because people think beautiful is vulnerability. It is not. If you are beautiful, say, I'm beautiful. Good. Thank you. One of the projects that we have is called MaGreen. So these are different projects, but this project is mainly focused on environmental emergencies in different countries. The reason why we studied this is because in Malawi, we had more than 200 people died in 2015, and more than 200,000 people were displaced after floods. So we said, you know what? We are maestros. Let's do this. So this is why I'm wearing a Let's Do This t-shirt. We believe in action-oriented. What's the problem in the country? What can we do? Let's do it. How much do we need? 100,000 US dollars? Let's raise 100,000 US dollars. We don't depend on money from donors. We make money. It's very important. So this this project actually led us to have an award by the UN, which we received a Green Star Award for creating harvestable forests in different countries. All right. And just to wrap up, a number of projects that we have, we do training programs, leadership training programs. We have a Beyond Physique. So if you can see, the physique is physical and IQ. People who usually are sidelined because of their physical disability, in quotes. And we make sure that how can we empower them as well. We are creating youth employment, so creating 1,000 jobs at least each and every year, and connecting them to the different organizations that we have on the ground. We are creating a program for Teach Us. It's called Teach A to Z, whereby we're promoting teachers. Most of our teachers are forgotten in our primary and secondary schools. There's no upgrade of skill. We just leave them there. So that also affects their performance in these schools. We are creating a program whereby we're reintegrating the older people, the matured people, those who have retired, those who are above 60. How can they still serve and produce quality results towards the young people? All right? some of the awards, some of the best moments in our lives. We got recognized and awarded by the UNDP, the Office of Humanitarian Affairs, UN Environmental Program, as well as UNESCO. That's under the United Nations. We have been recognized by the Commonwealth, and we're working with the Commonwealth in all 52 nations under the Commonwealth. Recognized by the British Royal Family, recognized by Obama Foundation. We are working with Obama Foundation, and we also work with professional coaches. I think some of you know Common? Yes, great. Okay, all right. We work with government of, who's that president? Who? Okay, great. We work with the government of Malawi. That's our president, Peter Mutharika. We work with different business mentors. Do you know this guy? Okay, we work with different business mentors. We work with the Scottish government, the African Union, which is a very key partner in our organization. So I'll tell you one thing to finish off. We believe that before you touch or ask someone's hand for help, you have to touch their heart. I hope I've touched your heart, and I hope we'll hold hands together. Thank you so much.